HOA Karens smashed bathroom mirror at community center. Fined $120,000. The community center mirror didn't just break, it exploded into 1,000 jagged pieces, each one a tiny scream of Karen's rage. Everyone in the room froze, their eyes darting between the shattered glass and the woman who just swung a metal folding chair like it was a baseball bat. Karen, the HOA president with a perm as tight as her grip on power, stood there panting, her face a mix of triumph and venom. It started innocently enough, or so we thought. The Meadowview Community Center was the heart of our little suburban enclave, a place where kids painted murals, seniors played bingo, and neighbors argued over potluck recipes. I'm Jamal, the part-time custodian, just trying to keep the place clean while saving up for night school. I'd been scrubbing the floors that morning, humming to myself, when Karen stormed in, her heels clicking like a countdown to chaos. She'd been on a warpath lately, ever since the board rejected her proposal to ban loud colors in backyard decorations. Apparently, my neighbor's pink flamingo was a personal affront to her vision of class. Jamal, she barked, not even looking at me as she shoved a clipboard under my nose. This place is a disgrace. The bathroom mirror's smudged, the tiles are uneven, and don't get me started on the thermostat. Fix it, now. I nodded, used to her tirades, but something about her tone that day felt sharper, like a knife looking for a target. I grabbed my cleaning supplies and headed to the bathroom, figuring I'd wipe down the mirror and be done with it. But Karen followed, her arms crossed, her eyes boring into me like I'd personally insulted her ancestors. The bathroom was fine, spotless. I'd cleaned it an hour ago, but Karen pointed at the mirror, her manicured nail trembling with rage. Look at that streak. Are you blind? This is unacceptable. I squinted. There was no streak. The mirror gleamed under the fluorescent lights, reflecting her scowl perfectly. Ma'am, I said, keeping my voice steady, I cleaned it this morning. Maybe it's the lighting wrong move. Her face turned beet red, and she launched into a tirade about incompetence and standards. I stood there, mop in hand, wondering how a mirror could spark this much drama. That's when the mu-tuan started to simmer. Karen's complaints weren't new, but they'd been escalating for weeks. She'd already gotten Mr. Thompson, the retired vet who ran the bingo nights, banned for disorderly conduct after he accidentally spilled coffee on her designer purse. She'd fined Mrs. Nguyen $200 for planting tulips without HOA approval. And don't even get me started on the great mailbox font debacle of 24. Karen wasn't just a control freak. She was a one-woman wrecking ball, and the community was her demolition site. The next day, things got weirder. I was restocking paper towels when I overheard Karen in the meeting room, yelling at Lisa, the volunteer coordinator. Lisa was a saint, 22, fresh out of college, always organizing free art classes for the kids. You're undermining me, Karen snapped. I told you to cancel the teen dance night, and you went behind my back. Lisa, calm as ever, explained that the kids had been planning it for months, and it was funded by donations, not HOA money. Karen didn't care. This center is mine to run, she hissed. You'll regret crossing me. I should have known then that Karen was a ticking time bomb, but I didn't expect the twist that came next. Enter Mrs. Delgado, the 70-year-old widow who'd been quietly attending every HOA meeting for years, never saying a word. She was the kind of person you barely noticed, always knitting in the corner, her gray hair tucked into a neat bun. That day, though, she stood up during the meeting, her voice quivering but firm. Karen, she said, you've been bullying everyone for too long. I've kept records of every fine, every rule you've pushed through. Half of them violate state law. The room went silent. Karen's jaw dropped. Mrs. Delgado pulled out a thick folder, pages of notes, dates, and receipts. It was like watching a librarian transform into a prosecutor. Karen laughed it off, but you could see the cracks forming. She doubled down, issuing new fines left and right: $50 for untrimmed hedges, $100 for excessive holiday lights. The community was on edge. whispering about a petition to oust her. I tried to stay out of it, but as the custodian, I saw everything: the angry notes left on bulletin boards, the hushed arguments in the parking lot. The tension was like a storm cloud, and we were all waiting for the lightning. Then came the day of the KO trial. It was a Saturday. The community center packed for the annual talent show. Kids were rehearsing, parents were setting up snacks, and I was sweeping the stage when Karen burst in, her face a thunderstorm. "Who approved this?" she demanded, waving a flyer for the teen dance night Lisa had refused to cancel. Lisa stepped forward, her voice steady. "The board did. Karen, it's not your call." The room went quiet, all eyes on them. Karen's face twisted, and she turned to me. "Of all people. Jamal, you let this happen. You're supposed to report unauthorized events." I blinked, stunned. "Ma'am, I just cleaned the floors." But Karen wasn't listening. She grabbed a folding chair from the corner and, before anyone could react, swung it at the bathroom door. The glass mirror inside shattered, the sound echoing like a gunshot. Kids screamed, parents gasped, and Lisa yelled, "Karen, stop!" But Karen wasn't done. She stormed into the bathroom, kicking at the broken glass, shouting about disrespect and ruining her community. The mirror wasn't just broken, it was obliterated, its frame warped. The wall behind it cracked from the force. It was chaos, a physical manifestation of her unraveling control. The aftermath was swift and brutal. Mrs. Delgado, calm as ever, called the police. The community board held an emergency meeting, and Karen's reign of terror came crashing down. The folder Mrs. Delgado had been keeping. It wasn't just notes, it was a legal arsenal. She documented every overreach, every illegal fine, every threatening email. Turns out, Karen had been skimming HOA funds to pay for her consulting fees, and the mirror incident was the final straw. The board voted unanimously to remove her as president, and the police charged her with vandalism and destruction of property. The fan dame was glorious. The court hearing was packed, with neighbors spilling into the hallway, all there to see justice served. Karen tried to play the victim, claiming she was under stress and provoked, but the judge wasn't having it. The community center's mirror wasn't just a mirror, it was a $10,000 custom piece, donated by a local artist. Combined with the damage to the wall and the legal fees, Karen was slapped with a $120,000 fine. Her face crumpled as the gavel fell, and for the first time, she had no one to bully, no clipboard to hide behind. The crowd didn't cheer, they just watched, silent, as she walked out of the courtroom, her heels no longer clicking with authority. But the real kicker, the community didn't just recover, it thrived. Lisa took over as interim HOA president, and the first thing she did was organize a fundraiser to replace the mirror. Kids painted a new mural, this one with a phoenix rising from broken glass. Mrs. Delgado started a free knitting class, and even I got involved, teaching a workshop on basic home repairs. The center felt alive again, like the heart of Meadowview had started beating. Karen She moved away. Her house sold to a young couple who painted their mailbox bright purple, just to spite her memory. Some say she's still out there, terrorizing another HOA, but we don't talk about her much anymore. The mirror's gone, but so is her grip on us, and that's worth more than $120,000. And what do you think? Did Karen get what she deserved? Or was the fine too harsh? Share your thoughts. We're all ears.